In this video, I'm going to integrate RTI with Lutron RA2 Select. We'll see how to configure the Lutron driver in the RTI Integration Designer software, how to control my light and my lighting scenes for my RTI T2x Remote Control, and of course, with the feedback for my RA2 Select system. So, without any further ado, let's do it. Today, on my demo setup, I have on one side my Lutron RA2 Select system already fully set up, which include my main repeater, my very famous black and white table lamp, each one controlled from its own Lutron wireless lamp dimmer, and operated via this 4-button Picosync keypad as well as from the Lutron app. I have other Lutron devices on my system, but those are the only one we're going to use today. On the other side, I have my RTI system, which consists of an XP3 processor and a T2x Remote Control. My RTI system has also already been completely set up, firmware etc. have all been updated, as well as Ethernet communication on those devices. Both the RA2 Select repeater and RTI XP3 processor are hardwired to my local Ethernet network via this switch here. Okay, let's start programming. Here on the Integration Designer software used to program RTI, I have my current project open. Got my XP3 here, and I just have a single room called Office, which contains my T2x Remote Control. Alright, so to integrate Lutron RA2 Select with RTI, the first thing I have to do is to add the Lutron RA2 Select driver to my project. So I right-click on Global here, then Add New, select the Driver tab, and search for Lutron. And I'm gonna select this Lutron Caseta / RA2 Select driver, as it is the same driver to use for these two Lutron systems. And the step that will follow will be exactly the same if you integrate Lutron Caseta with RTI. At the time of this recording, we'll be using the new Lutron driver version 2.3 from March 2023. It has great new features to speed up your programming, especially when dealing with a multiprocessor and multi-room application. Surely something we might cover in the future. So I click on Next, won't have to change anything here, and click on Add Device, and close that window here. And under drivers, I can see that the Lutron driver has been added. And that under source, I have a new one called device number 1, which actually represents my RA2 Select main repeater. Now, let's configure the Lutron RA2 Select driver. But before we go any further, this video is brought to you by Pulse Cinemas. Pulse Cinemas is the UK's finest AV distributor, inspiring and supporting the largest community of integrators since 2003. From RA2 Select to Homeworks, I actually been purchasing all my Lutron equipment at Pulse for over a decade. They also helped me to expand my business beyond lighting control thanks to their expertise in home cinemas, which is second to none. And thanks to their world-class showroom located in Stansted, their team of highly trained designers, as well as all the brands they represent, they are the perfect partner on each of my projects, helping me delivering the best experience for all my customers. So, if you also want to take your project to the next level, feel free to get in touch with Pulse using the link in the comment section below, and you can also use Pulse's webshop for the purchase of Lutron equipment required on your next project. Now, let's go back to our tutorial. First, let's go to the driver properties. On the driver mode settings, I select RA2 Select. Good. Next, connection settings, which is about Ethernet communication settings so both RTI and Lutron can see and talk to each other in it. Here, on the TCP address, I need to enter the IP address of my RA2 Select main repeater. To do so, I need to launch my Lutron app. Go to Settings, select Advanced here, then integration and network settings to find my Lutron repeater address here, which I need to enter on my driver here, 10.0.1.58. Okay. I'm not changing the port, and technically now both systems can see each other. But for them to talk and interact, RTI need to log in into the RA2 Select, and that's what the username and password here are for. This login cannot really be changed on the RA2 Select system, therefore it should not be changed here also, otherwise the integration won't work. In the device configuration settings here, we will need Lutron integration IDs. IDs refer to each element of our RA2 Select system, and this is what allows RTI to know which Lutron equipment to listen to or to talk to. To get this information, we need to go back to our Lutron app. Go to Settings, go to Advanced, then Integration here, and then select Send Integration Report. Here, I'll email this report to myself and open it. In this integration report, we will find all our Lutron IDs. For example, let me scroll down to the Pico we're going to use today in our tutorial. Here, in my office, I have my PicoSync keypad, and if I need my RTI to listen to it, I will use ID number 8, as you can see here. And if my RTI remote control, for example, needs to virtually press on any button of my Pico, in addition to its ID, we will have to specify the button number here. Now, if I want RTI to control my black table lamp, here, wired to a Lutron RA2 Select dimmer, I'll have to use ID number 6. Same for a Lutron blind or any other RA2 Select device. Cool. Now, going back to the top of my report, ID number 1 refers to my Smart Bridge 2, which is my Lutron RA2 Select main repeater. And this repeater has within itself what we could call a virtual keypad, or, as we often say, a phantom keypad. Ooh. With a total of 100 buttons. Here, for example, button number 1 is called Nighttime, button number 4, Movie, 5, Relax, etc. These buttons are used to trigger RA2 Select scenes that have been programmed on the Lutron app from the Scene tab here, where we find the Nighttime, Movie, and Relax scenes, amongst others I've already programmed. Finally, on my report, I'll have to find the last device ID used, and in my case is ID 18 here, and I'll have to report it on the RTI driver configuration here. Although I'll be using just a few of them in this tutorial, I will type in this section the corresponding name for each Lutron IDs found on my integration report. There we go. Next, on the driver events here, we'll find all the events associated with my Lutron RA2 Select system. And at the top, event referring to press and release actions on those main repeater phantom keypad buttons used for scenes, up to button 100, which means we could use those Lutron events to operate equipment connected to our RTI system, like switching off a TV or playing a favorite audio playlist when we activate the relax scene from our Lutron app, for example. Next, we'll find the same set of events for each RA2 Select device, regardless of being a Lutron dimmer, a Lutron shade, or Lutron Pico. Here, we'll only have to worry about the relevant events based on the type of device we need RTI to listen to. Like my Office PicoSync keypad here, ID 8, where I will only use those press and release events on button 8 to 11 here to match button 1 to 4 on the actual PicoSync keypad, as opposed to button 1 to 6 here that are to be used only with regular Pico remote. This button mapping information as well as other details are explained on the driver info page here that I will invite you to read before you own Lutron integration. Okay, so we have now finished configuring our RA2 Select driver, and again, it will be the same steps if you're using Lutron Caseta. Now I need to test the communication between my RTI and Lutron system to make sure they can see and talk to one another. To do so, I'm going back to Global, Add New, then go to the Drivers tab here and type XP to find the RTI XP diagnostic driver. Once selected, click Next and then Add Device. I'll then save my project. Then click on the Send System icon to upload this program to my RTI controller here and click Send. Okay. Once uploaded, I go to the Communication menu here and select Show Device on Local Network. Click on my processor IP address, which will open this navigator page, where I can see that my computer is currently connected to my XP3 processor. Good. I select the SysVar button here, then select Lutron Caseta / RA2 Select. And from there, I'll attempt to send requests to my Lutron system, such as, for example, connection state connected, and click Add. And as you can see, this returns a true value, which means that my XP3 is connected and logged to my RA2 Select main repeater, which is great. I could also request for, let's say, the current dimming value of my black table lamp here, ID 6. And it returns 61%, which is exactly what I have on my Lutron app. And if I change it to, let's say, 85 here, it changes live on the XP diagnostic. So we're good. Let's close this window and move on. The next step will be to program our T2x Remote Control here under my Office controller to operate my black and my white table lamp. I will first select the lighting circuit page here that has been automatically populated as we've been setting up the system. On this button here, I would like to have a real-time light level feedback for my lamp and use this plus and minus button here to raise and lower that lamp light level for my remote control. Very easy. Check this out. Let's start here. Instance ID. Right click and go Edit Text. Click on the tag and remove it using this Remove Tag button here and replace it with plain text that says Black Table Lamp and click OK. Very good. Next, I select this Light Level button here. Right click and select Edit Text again, as this button is used to read and display an information from the system and therefore will use a text tag. Click on the tag here to change it to a new one called Light Level Black Lamp. Click OK and OK again here. And as you can see here, it now says text tag Light Level Black Lamp, which I'm going to point to the corresponding Lutron ID for the black lamp. To do so, I select Source here, and on this side, click on the button with the 3 dots. Here, I'll make sure then the Lutron driver is selected. Look for ID number 6 for my black lamp, and select its dimmer / shade level here, as it will be the same process to get feedback from a Lutron blind. Click OK, and I have my black lamp ID added to my button properties here. And on the T2x page, it now displays 50%. This is not live feedback. It's just to show the format of this value when displayed on the remote. Looking good.
Hey, if you like what you've seen so far, please make sure to give that video a thumbs up, smash that like button and subscribe to the Adelux channel, as this really helps supporting what we do. Thank you very much.
Now, let's configure the lower button next to it. And because I now need to send a command from my remote control into my RTI system to lower my Lutron dimmer, I will have to configure a tag, as opposed to a text tag, as you can see on the button properties here. To do so, I right-click on the button here, and this time select Edit Properties. On the Tag tab, let's modify the current tag to create a new one that will ultimately be associated with the lowering of my black lamp only. So I just add light down black lamp and click OK. And this is the tag I'm now going to program. So in the macro section here, I select Source which already point to device number 1, my RA2 Select main repeater. Then click on the Add New macro step icon here, set type to common, select the Lutron Caseta / RA2 Select device. The function will be dimmer command. Then I set the ID to ID 6 for my black lamp. And finally, I select the lower command here. Okay, but if I were to upload the program and test this button now, the black lamp will lower all the way down to its minimum without stopping. And because it won't stop, the light level value here will never change because the RTI processor needs a stop to read the new light level. So, here I'm going to select a time delay for my macro step library and drag it under my lower command. Leave the default value to 0.3 seconds, which will be enough. Click enter and add a new similar command, this time to stop. Voila! And as you guessed it, I will use the similar process to configure the plus button here to raise my black lamp. And here, if I press on the Control key, select, and drag the first command here, it will duplicate it. I drop it after the timer, and I just have to change the command to stop. Very good. I'm now done with the control and feedback for my black table lamp. And as you can see, I'll do exactly the same thing for my white table lamp. Change the instance ID to a plain text. Then create a new text tag to specifically show the light level on my white lamp, which is ID 11. And then create and configure a new tag for the lower button. And then for the raise button. Very easy. And because I just have my two lamps to control in my office, I'm going to delete the lighting layer number 3 here. Nice. Next, I click on the Send System icon here to upload the program to my RTI XP3 and my T2X. Good. Now, let's test it. Let's check first what we have on the remote control when we operate the lights for my Lutron Pico. The Lutron app also displays information about my black table lamp. And as we can see here, each time I press to activate the scenes that have been set on the Lutron Pico, I have a live feedback of my lighting circuits on my T2X remote control. Now, selecting the white table lamp on the Lutron app, I use the slide to change its light level, and I can see the level in percent for the white table lamp also changing on the remote. Good. We definitely have those two control systems talking and listening to each other. Same thing also when I lower the black table lamp using the minus button here. And also when I raise the light back up using the plus button. Great. Now let's go to the lighting scenes page to configure, guess what, my scenes. So there are different ways to deal with scenes, and I will use those buttons here to illustrate those. To illustrate the first way, I will configure the first scene button here to simulate a button press on the top button of my Lutron Pico, which is set to turn both lamps to full on. So here, because I want to keep the same scene 1 throughout my controllers on this tutorial, I'm going to use that scene 1 tag here. In the macro section, I select source, then click on the add new icon here. Select command, Lutron device. Next, I will select the keypad / Pico wireless control button function here. Then ID 8 for my office Pico, and because it is a 4-button Pico scene keypad, I'll select button number 8 here to match its top button 1. And finally, I set the command to be executed on the release of that button because it is how the Pico operates within the RA2 Select system. Good. To change the text on the button, I right-click on it, go Edit Text, and replace the text with All On. And by the way, I will also change the text on the bottom button here to All Off, programming it exactly the same way as the top button, as you can see here, this time using button 11 here that match button 4 on my Pico, already programmed to switch off the lamps. Great. Now, to illustrate the second way, I will use this second button here. And I will configure it to trigger one of my Lutron system scenes, do you remember, called Relax. When I check on my Lutron integration report, my Relax scene is on the main repeater Phantom keypad button number 5. So, on the button tag here, I'll go Macro and Source, add new command, Lutron device, then Phantom keypad button function, which is ID1, the Lutron main repeater ID, and then select button number 5 for my Relax scene and set it to press. And I will also change the text on the button to Relax. Et voilà, trop facile. Randomly, I will also configure the scene 4 button here to trigger my 9 times scene, which is on button 1 of that Lutron Phantom keypad, as I always want my keypad to go from the brightest to the darkest scene. Okay. Finally, to illustrate the third way, I'm gonna use the third button here. And this time, rather than interacting with a scene built in my Lutron system, i.e. from a Pico or from the Phantom keypad, I'm going to build the scene inside my RTI system using my Lutron Dimmers. That scene will only be available for my T2x Remote Control and not from the Lutron app. It is just to show that it is possible, just in case you need to do something similar on your project. So here again, I'm going to use the tag macro source here and add a command. Device still the same, Lutron, as I'm going to interact with Lutron Dimmers, and this time I'm going to use the set dimmer level function here. Select ID number 6 for my black lamp, to which I'm going to set it to, let's say, 35% when I press on that button. And I can also set a fade time of 2 seconds. This last box here is for delay time, but it is only for RA2 Select Big Brother, and Homer's QS. But for the rest, it is exactly like I would have done inside my Lutron RA2 Select system, so that's very cool. I will copy this command to set my white table lamp to 5%, for example. Okay. And on that button, change the name to Reading, for example. Now, let's upload the program to the thing to test it. The All On Scene button on my remote virtually press on the Pico top button where both lights are set to full on. The Relax scene activates a scene that has only been programmed inside the Lutron app. And finally, we have the Reading scene, which is a scene belonging only to RTI, but using the Lutron Dimmers. All this integration is great. From the press of a button on your RTI remote, you can program your system to play a movie, set the Lutron blinds to a preset position, and lower the lights on your RA2 Select system, and much, much more.
Voila, there you have it. How to integrate RTI with Lutron RA2 Select. I hope you find this video useful, and if you have any question on Lutron integration, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the Adelux YouTube channel so you can be updated when the next video is released. Thank you very much. Good luck and talk to you again on the next tutorial.